Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode with us again today. Franklin, how you doing? How is family? And how is everything generally?
I'm all right, thanks. I'm all
All
right.
right.
Fantastic.
Oh,
So the floor is yours, and let's have it.
all right. I really appreciate the caveat you put before we start the program because most times in this part of the world, you just have to know that while fighting for Africans to be free, you realize your greatest opponent or enemy are still the same Africans themselves. So you use one sword to fight for them, and you use another one to fight yourself from them. And and a couple
So
of
I'll remove myself. I'll be in the background, but I'll let you have the full screen so you can carry on talking, so that my lagging won't take people's attention.
all right, no problem. All right. So a couple of times, maybe during the last broadcast that we've had together, and now I realized that a lot of people from this platform, from every other platform, come around and say, "Oh, he's just scammer, is this and that and all that." May I put it out to everybody that if you are open for a free service or you are not open to pay for knowledge that is being shared with you, the secret, sacred secret of the nature, you can please go and meet Jesus or follow Muhammad. uh, Pay your tithe regularly, offering, project offering, sacrificial offering, pastoral offering, build houses in Mecca, and all of those things. You are free. It's all about a free world. But when you are coming to African spirituality, you must know that our forefathers, our ancestors, there's a way they did all these things. And sometimes it will require you to buy one item or the other. If you can get your items sent to us from everywhere, it's welcome. If you are going to send us the item, it's okay, but nothing goes for free here. And if we try as much as possible to render the knowledge to you, please also appreciate the time that we spend. Don't because you feel disenfranchised, because you are broke, because you cannot afford to pay for the items of whatever is needed, or you have been duped by your pastors and also been bashed by your imam. You think those who practice African spirituality are the best ones to take your broke nature or whatever it is that you are. No, we also don't go to market to steal those things. The ones we can do for free, we get to do it for free. So I personally do not appreciate people calling me scammer, all of those things. I'm plain enough, and African spirituality will surely cost you money. Having done that, we today talking about understanding witchcraft and also the witches. And let me start by saying what is witchcraft, because most times a lot of us do not understand that we are all born as witches, every single one of us, born as a witch individually, as witches communally, globally. And your misconception or misunderstanding about witchcraft is what is causing the fear factor that is being instilled in you by the practitioners of the religion of the invaders to make you go away from who you are. One of the first things you, as a person who is an African child, well spirited child, need to understand is that you are a witch by nature. Now, the understanding of this ability to be a witch or being a witch is what makes you be able to practice witchcraft. And we are going to be examining witchcraft in different manner, different ways, and from different angles. If you come to me and I have some sort of gifting from nature, such that when I hold your hands, I can perform something they call data transfer, where you, as a device in nature, communicate with me as another device in nature. And so we exchange data, information. we download and upload within ourselves without uttering a word. And I am able to tell you, come, this is what is wrong with you. These are the things you need to do. Or let's say I am filled with some kind of gift to have premonitions of what is about to happen or what has happened before and how we can stop the bad occurrences and also initiate the good experiences. To one who lives an ordinary life, I am a witch to that person. So witchcraft is the perfect understanding without leaving any detail, no matter how minute it may be, of what nature held, owed, and we owed for all of us. Ability to access information without approval from the one who chests that information. That is witchcraft. And every one of us have that gifting inside of us. There are several videos I've done on my YouTube page, Baba Yoba on YouTube page, and I have been able to bring mankind to the position of saying that, come, you are God over your life. If God means Olodumare, then you are the Olodumare you are looking for. So when those who do not have the inclination or full understanding on how to maximize this witchcraft in them encounter you, they label you evil. They start by calling you diabolical just because they do not have access to the kind of power that you do have access to the kind of understanding that you do have access to. And so it is easy to do the sliding and blackmailing and smuggling and all the shading just because someone is not at the same knowledge level just as you. Now, it takes an extraordinary person to know themselves. The extra effort you put in knowing yourself is what makes you extraordinary. And I tell you, everyone watching now or will watch later, you have this gifting inside of you. Being a witch is not the duty of some ugly women in the village, unlike what your pastor will tell you. Every old woman that is looking malnutrition or live in the village or look way ugly somehow in Africa is a witch. So they will tell you so many stories to get you scared that a witch is coming from a meeting. And so she got stuck on the roof because she's looking for how to buy a fuel to refuel her flight. And I'm wondering, what really is the correlation between witchcrafty and buying fuel to fly? I keep telling people that until we embrace darkness that is inside of us, we will not be able to express the light that is also inside of us. It starts from the negative aspect as termed by people to the positive aspect. So to you, to me, once you have a supernatural knowledge of a thing without getting approval from anyone, you are already practicing what they call witchcraft. Now, let's take it a step backward now. There is something that the Christians call faith, that having faith. They define it as the evidence of things not seen. And to tell you that when you so much focus your attention on a certain things you want from their sky god, then everything is possible. So much that you can say to a mountain that be ye moved and be cast into the sea, and it will be done. If such a thing happened to you while you are practicing what they call faith in your church, it is not witchcraft. If I come to your house and I refuse to knock the door and I stand still and I focus my thought, my emotion, my energy on that door, and so invoking the supernatural, because I can do it, you can do it, and the door gets opened Don't forget that the material world is an offspring of the spiritual world. And if you go back to the place where it is manufactured, you can manipulate it. And the door get opened. What you would tell me is that I practice witchcraft. You will
Mm.
not say I use my faith to get that thing done. Everyone possess emotion, possess that focus and desire. Once your focus, emotion, and your desire is in one single line, nothing can deny you of anything at all you want in the universe. And this is not a Christian teaching. This is the teaching of the universe and nature, which every one of us must be able to live as our daily reality. In your Bible, they said a certain guy called Jesus suddenly disappeared into the sky, evaporated like water. And a certain guy called Philip, while he was baptizing one Ethiopian eunuch by the riverside, disappeared from one city to another city. It is okay. You clamor it, you cherish it, you want it so badly. You will fast and pray for it, but you won't get it. If it happens in your lifetime, maybe I or you do that exact thing, you will call me a witch and you will also be tagged a witch. Then the next thing is death sentence for us to kill you. We have forgotten that those who wrote the Bible, those who wrote the Quran, are simply trying to create a single system of order in the world such that you cannot have access to yourself except you get their approval.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone who assess themselves, they are gifting the things that is inside them as a human, thereby becoming supernatural without the approval of the Eurasian and all these one world order techniques are naturally termed a witch. Knowing this and having this knowledge is thereby telling you that if you say you call the name of Jesus and you get miracles, I also will tell you that those who call Shango, they get things done. Let me tell you a little story I told one of our followers when she reached out to me. It so happened that when we did the divination, this person is having the inclination with water, and the level of intensity of our energy is quite so much for me. When I discover I needed to also bow to her, and while I was telling her all these things, I told her that yours is even so extreme. You might not need water to do what water can do. And I've not seen her before. She's somewhere in diaspora. And I said, if you check yourself very well, your palms drips of water. I said, the water that drips out of your body, sometimes when you splash it around, it carries so much power and data. You only need to give it a direction with the words of your mouth. And I said, to
Wow.
encourage you, something happened recently in Ogun State. They call the town Ilese. Ilese is between Ijebu Imushi. Is it Ijebu? Yeah, Ijebu Imushi and Ijebu Ife. And so this particular Baba, who is the king of a certain small village, went on the expressway to Ijebu Ode to cut some money to pay his laborer. And while he was coming, he had an accident and died on the road. But before he died, some road safety, four of them, came to his rescue. They couldn't rescue his life. And they called his family to come take the cops. And the family came, and they realized from the last text message that Baba took some money, but they could not get the money from the car. No, we didn't take money. Oh. Where is the money now? We didn't collect it. Okay. Are you sure? They said they are sure. So they went to invoke the the deity of justice.
Hmm.
In African spirituality, using Yoruba way, we use Eshu and Shango interchangeably for equity and justice. And so one of these days, it was not rainy, nothing was happening. The thunder struck, And those who are at the door, the lightning actually bruises their body, went into the office, struck those four men. And this is the way Shango works. When your case is with Shango and you are guilty, it will pull you out of wherever you are, smash you outside in the public, and whatever it is you stole, no matter where you kept it, it will bring that stuff and put it on your chest. And how do we know that this is not just mere coincidence? There's something they call this thunderbolt, Edunara. That is how whenever Shango walks in a place, the Edunara will be there. And nobody else can approach it except those who specialize in that deity of Shango. And the Edunara is what they look for first. I said, for us to know. Now, these men thought that nothing will happen. There must have been some Christians, there must have been some Muslims amongst them who, having taken the money, would have gone to say, Allah forgive me. Do astaghfirullah. Like Gafur. They would have said, grace cover me, forgiveness cover me, Jesus has died for me. But they have forgotten that some things are more powerful than Jesus, some things are more powerful than Allah. And that is in African spirituality. Whoever saw that event, we call it witchcraft. Why? Because you lack the knowledge to invoke that energy of nature to come to your aid and give you justice. And people need to come to reality. Either you call it superstition or whatever it is. Don't worry, come and steal from me. That's why they are scared of you, frankly. They are scared of me. They are scared of everyone who embrace Africa, because they will say we don't have forgiving heart. Don't offend us. We are not trying to hurt you. When you try to come against us, fire is not coming against you. Now you will go put down for fire, fire go burn. And it doesn't occur here that, okay, I've forgiven you. No, even if we, the children of the universe and nature, forgives you, the nature and the universe will fight for us, and you cannot escape it. And that is why there is total holiness concept, righteousness concept in African spirituality. You dare not do what you don't want to get. You don't cook what you don't want to eat. You don't dabble into things you don't want to experience. Just maintain your lane. Consequences is our watchword. When you know the consequences of it, you dare not go against it. And this witchcraft is not coming from the outer space. It is coming from the mindset of people. So when you call your Jesus and you think you get miracles, we call our Shango, we also get miracles. We call our Oshun, we get miracles. We call Olokun, we get miracles. We call Oya, we get miracles. We call all of this energy, we invoke them and we get miracles. If miracle is done by names, it would have been the name of Jesus alone that works, because they say all power belongs to Jesus. However, I'll take you back to the concept of you also being God. If you go to call these names and your mind is not in it, and your emotion is not in it, and your focus is not in it, you are only wasting your time, because the true judge of character and the knower of the intent of the heart of man is nature itself. When your mind is focused on it, even ordinary biro can work miracles for you. So who is giving energy to that biro? It is you, not the biro. You are the one sharing the energy within you with the object around you for them to have life. And that's why one of the most precious creatures of the universe is mankind. However, mankind always look for a way to corrupt their mindset by going back to bow down to trees, to the things that has been made lesser than them, that do not have the oblongata, the medulla oblongata, and this intuition or the instinct, just like they can do. Whereas all things are living, but not all things are reasonable. As awesome as water is, water still needs you to direct it, instruct it, and give it a command. It will not just work on its own. It will wait for your order. And that's why we say, you are the Orisha, the deity, the God. If all of this information, knowledge, no Knowing yourself is inside of you. There is no way they will not call you a witch in your office one day. There is no way they will not call you a witch in your neighborhood one day. Because before it happens, you already know your way out of it. Things don't happen to you now, they happen for you. These are beautiful knowledge. However, with knowledge comes abuse.
Mm.
People who understand this way of life, who practice this thing, can also use it to hurt people. I will not talk about the consequences of their action because they know. But if power exists, then power is a zombie. It goes where you want it to go. It comes when you want it to come. If the power falls in the hands of the wrong person, the power will be a wrong thing. If it falls in the hand of a good person, it becomes a good thing. And so witchcraft is itself the knowledge, the totalitarian knowledge of nature. However, what do you use your knowledge of witchcraft to do? And that is why we need to be careful. People are dying. Why? Because people are killing people. Guns don't just shoot themselves. People use guns to kill people. People are dying in the hand of wizardry, witchcraft, not because witchcraft itself is evil, but because those who practice witchcraft are using this witchcraft to hurt others. So if Franklin has some kind of level of witchcraft and he want to hurt me, I have some kind of level of witchcraft to protect myself. And that's why you cannot be in the dark while walking through this earth, this planet. It's always Ijawa Ijausi, always guiding. Because those you don't offend are even offended by your own mere existence.
Mm-hmm.
People look at you and they wish you drop dead. People are attentive to your household. They are calling you every time saying, I just want to check on you. Not because they want to check on you. They want to hear, has it gone too soon? Are they
Mm.
announcing the painful exit? Can we now begin to share the obituary? Can we make them popular humorously? If you allow yourself to lose guard, then you become the victim of that circumstance. You become the casualty in this battle where we are, which is nature. And so we begin to drill it down to who are these witches in this adulterated form and understanding that we have gotten so far. The witches, as you have been told, are not those women in the Nollywood movie. Oyiboyi is not a representation of witches or witchcraft. No, a lot of people have seen that. They say, call it the Oyiboyi from what I do. That is not Mount Zion movie. That man called Mike Babiloyi is not representing either witchcraft or whatever it is. It's not representing it well. If witchcraft is represented as the society, the sacred order of the knowledgeable, experienced, illuminated set of human beings, you also will crave to be part of that sacred order. But they needed to do their social media and normal entertainment industry propaganda again because they are solely being sponsored by Eurasian mission to blackmail who you are. And so when you are a little child or even adult and you say something that comes to pass, they say only deliverance, that you need a deliverance. From what? How can you be delivered from yourself, from your gifting, from the power that nature has bestowed upon you? And so I must have mentioned that once before in this platform that when we talk about the witches, the misconception always comes that is the women.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we always saying it's the women? Are we saying there are no men who are also abusing their knowledge of nature for evil? But you see, our women take the blow for every misnomer in the society.
Mm.
If they want to be wise, they will be too wise. If they want to cheat, they will be too cheaty.
Are we always
If they
saying?
want to be dumb, they will be too dumb.
Are we saying there are no men who are also abusing their knowledge of nature for evil?
No, that's what I just said now. I said, when we talk about it is the women that come to mind.
For every misnomer in the society.
Something is playing back to me, Frank.
Be wise, they will be too wise.
Yeah, just 1 second.
If they want to cheat, they will be too cheaty.
Sorry about that. It's from me. Go on.
All right. So what I'm saying is, when witches come to mind, it is the women we put in that picture. That's the way Nollywood, whatever wood, I don't know what they are wooding, has made it to be. But there are men who also abuse their knowledge of nature. Why do you think they call Babalawo witch doctor in English? Before we start correcting it, that Babalawos are not witch doctors. Because some Babalawo also misuse their power and understanding of nature. But you see these women, awesome creatures. They came with authority. Every part of their body is filled with stamp of yes and final. And in Yoruba language, we'll call the witches Aje.
Mm.
Sometimes you need to understand that tongues changes as dispensation improves.
Mm.
Aje is not a word. Aje is the word. Aje means it shall be so. And that is where we got our share from.
Mm.
Putting the stamp of authority over a thing. And so when we want to do Ifa, sacrifice and all that, we need the women, a female gender, to help us pray over it before we can believe that it has been settled. In Christianity and Islam, while you are praying, if a man comes in, they will say, yes, your prayer is sure to answer. No. Here, if we are doing something and the first person you see or the first person to come in is a woman, that's when we jubilate and we're happy because we know there is a stamp on it. Why? They carry this aura of authority. So we call them Aje, not Aje. It is because of the lack of understanding of this power which they have that those who are not knowledgeable call them witches. They just mumble everything together and say, okay, these women are witches. Just like we don't have Olori in the palace, we have Olori in the palace. And it is our women that are doing Olori in the palace. Do you get the misconception over the time how the women have been disenfranchised? All of these things exist in our society, in African spirituality, knowing that if a man put you on a curse, you can escape it. If a woman do that, you might not escape it. If a man put you on a curse, you can just say, okay, Dariji and all that. If a woman is involved in your matter, it is nature we have to offer sacrifice to. That's why we always offer sacrifices of a yonu, which is like favor. To the universe, knowing that the representation or the ambassador of the universe have been hurt, and then we need to pacify them. And if these women come together and they determine in their mind that so person is not going to make it, forget it. It's either you go and beg or. So we call them eleye. The eleye is not coming because they are flying like a bird in the night. The eleye is not coming because they fly from one plantain tree to another cocoa tree. The concept of the eleye is the interconnectivity of all these women. You cannot escape them. If you leave Nigeria and go to Togo, they will continue your work there. Want to transfer file son, file it wambe. I want to come and pick it up.
Can you? I love that bit. Can you please emphasize more on how, particularly for our people? I love that bit that you just highlighted now, because I don't know what else you intend to say on how people can be marked and how they can carry on targeting you if you don't do the right thing. Please go on.
All right. Regarding that, you must understand that we are still, all of us, both the ignorant, the innocent, the powerful, and the knowledgeable, are dealing with one single thing, and that is the energy that floats in the universe. And so when you have been reported to some people who are known to be able to twist or manipulate the knowledge of nature for evil, what they do is to call your name. Unfortunately for you, every one of us are created, or let me say, are given birth to by a woman, and it makes the job easy. Women is who they reported you to. A woman is who bore you. And the moment they know your mother's name, sometimes they go into the extreme. Ẹ̀yin ìyá Ọ̀pàkẹ́ Àlàkẹ́ agbógbaṣọ má balẹ̀ ṣàlànsólò ṣàlànsálá atapájorí àti fún jẹ̀dọ̀ mo ṣe bá yín o. Èyí tí mo sọ ìkó má wùn mí lẹ́nu. They make figurine and call your ori into it. So the moment your old spirit being is being called into that figurine, whatever is done to that figurine is what happens to you exactly. And so if a figurine, for example, is being made, call your name into it, and let's say the figurine is soaked in alcohol. My brother, my sister, bó ṣe máa mọtí kú nìyẹn o, wọ́n máa gbé ẹ lọ rehabilitation, bó ṣe ń kó rehabilitation kó máa tún la mọtí ni ọtí ṣáá ni àbí bí paraga. We have people who bedwet, even as adults. Their work has been done, put into river. So whenever they have a dream that they are swimming in a river, Jangbala Jugbu ni omiyale. I'm saying this not to promote this negative aspect of African spirituality, but to tell you that power exists, and those who suffer from the hand of these people will bear witness with me. Now, how did they come about it? Knowledge. They seek the knowledge. So I can teach you the same knowledge and say they have put your name in the figurine and they are afflicting you. The same knowledge they use in afflicting you is what we use to also set you free. But first, we have to know the root of the problem. So putting a mark on you is not a matter of maybe the mark of whatever or something, somebody will see a visible mark. But whoever of understanding of the power of the universe and nature will know something is wrong with this person. And somebody is actually tampering with this person. Remember, sorry, I did a video, a teaching, answering a question if there are bad or negative or evil power in African spirituality. And I made the revelation on my YouTube page, Baba Yoba. I made the revelation. I said, when we, the initiate, are being taught, before we get initiated, the first thing we are exposed to is that negative power of nature. You can spend 5 years learning how to do Ika. You can spend 5 years learning how to do all sorts of things, how to make somebody run mad, how to make somebody not have progress, all the form of wickedness in the world. When you are done with that, you will now make a vow and a covenant that you will never use those negative power against anyone. But whenever you sense this negative energy, you will now be introduced to the positive one, the antidote for all those things that you have been taught. And so when a Babalawo see you, a true Babalawo, when they see you, they are able to see from onset that this person, there's a mark on this person. Why? When the FBI was created in those years, they were created not for security of human, they were created for the security of currency. And this is how they train FBI agents. They lock them up in a room for some month or year. And all they expose them to is fake currency. Fake dollar, anytime, every day. They touch it, they spell it, they do everything with it. And their graduation, they allow them to go. FBI agent from onlook, from afar, whenever he sees a fake currency. Why? Because fake currency is what he has been exposed to. He cites it. Now, it is left for the FBI agent to use his knowledge of fake currency to promote this currency to be in circulation or to nab the culprit and bring them to justice. Do you get the way it works now? So we read our graph from negative to positive, not from positive to negative. The positive aspect is what we are taught last. Between the negative and the positive, we are told to make magemu emulegidi, that you will not use it for you will have to make vow. And so if you come from the family of herbalist, Babalawo and the rest, who are into evil, is your father or grandfather that have taken oath on your behalf before you come. And you see most of them, they die miserable death. No matter how much you give them, because with the amount they have created in eventuality, if they make use of that thing for evil. Now, the way we have Babalawo, we also have Iyanifa, the women equivalent of what someone like me do. And the same thing applies to us, except those who do not go to the true Awo to go and learn. And so I have a choice as a human being to manipulate someone or to set them free. But why do I know exactly? Because I have been exposed to those negative power and energy so much. When someone radiates such energy, I'm able to know. Now, what happens to you when you go to a party and you enter a party hall for the first time and you feel like sitting with some people and not some other people? What do you think happened there? Your energy that you emit, it matches with one another. It is not verbal. It is not oral. These are not audio communication. They are energy communication, spiritual communication. You just flow with some people. If you are a miserable person, you flow with miserable people. If you are a happy person, you will love to sit among the happy people. Is that not how we make friends? Is that not how we meet our wives and husbands? Why are we hanging out with some people? Because they flow like us. They deal the way we do. It is not something written down. I'm not going to be able to explain to you. It is something where you are working within yourself. You'll be able to note these things, that something is wrong. The same way a mother will know, a good mother, anywhere he is or she is, that my child is about falling ill. I have a mother. My mother is still in existence. I'm telling you for fact. If I start having headache now, and the headache seems to be serious, the moment I lay on my bed, the first phone call I receive is my mother's phone call. Hello? Báwo ni? Ṣé o sí? Báwo lára ẹ? How did this woman know?
It's the energy.
Same way for fathers who are homely, who are fathering. You will know when something is wrong with your people or your person or somewhere in your environment because you are attentive. And so when all these people also focus on you, have the same emotion and concentrate on you, that may evil befall this thing or this person, you are tampered with. And it doesn't just happen like that. Someone might be destined to fail in life. you know, this person might be able to make it here in Nigeria. But because they are destined to fail, they will do everything to go abroad. When they now get to abroad, they will now not make it in abroad. They will now not be able to come home. Has the program been executed or not? Can you imagine? Someone has been programmed to die early because somebody has told somebody to fight for them, and they have said, okay, every night you are sleeping and snoring. Every night they are invoking your name and calling bad energy and aura on you. You will now say, okay, after all, my life is going on well. You will now go and marry a wrong man who is a killer. You are still enjoying yourself, oh. Frankly, it's still an enjoyment. You don't know something is wrong. It's a timer. There's a program in you. You now fight with that man one day. He now strangle you to death. Fortunately, you are not in a society where they are doing post-mortem or post whatever test. Somebody now die like that. Somebody have said, okay, this person is going to fall down someday and die, because that is the way they have focused their energy and power. The person just don't fall down and die. They might start having one silly headache. Their kidney might start failing. And at the end of the day, every spiritual invocation will have to find a physical excuse for it to be manifested. So when people come to Babalawo and we know that the energy that is around them is negative, energy just don't become negative around you except a human being like yourself has manipulated it. And most of the time, people who manipulate energy against you don't even know you. They are not the ones you even offend. That's why we say, Ebo Shosheru, Ebo Sho, the wizard, Ebo Ajesheru, the witches, Ebo Elebologun, Babalawo, you can give them sacrifice and they will accept. You see, those people they call Alaroka, Franklin did this, Franklin did not do that. You don't know. They don't have power. But you see this mouth, they have used it to destroy your life. It may be somebody they bought pure water for 20 years ago that will say, he did this to you. Mi ò lè gbàgbé orí omi tó ṣe mí. Omi ni ilé ayé. Ma worry. You that said that went to go and report or talking around, you didn't know that somebody is fighting on your behalf for the things you don't even mean. And so when we meet divination and somebody say your wife is a witch, it does not necessarily mean that is your wife against you. It may mean that where she has gone, she has you. So the nature we eventually have to trace everything back to the one who sold you out. And that's why your closest relations are your best enemy. They will mess your life up. It may be your mother, it may be your father. Sometimes they even do it without knowing. It may be because they are proud of you and trying to being boastful about you. They want to go and be boastful about you among their friends who don't like you, who their children are not making that way. So when you go and check, they will now say it's your mother against you. It's not your mother, but it's your mother that sold you out. Are you getting the concept of how this thing works? We must understand that there are bad people in the world. There are good people in the world. What makes us good and bad? Knowledge that we possess and our own decision on how to make use of this knowledge.
Nice.
So sometimes when we say we need to make sacrifice of the elders, we are just trying to say, let us go and negotiate your matter. See, it is mouth. They used to go and talk your matter for evil. It is the same mouth that the initiate to go and use to talk your matter for good. And there is one person, one deity who is an intermediary between you and the witches. That is Eshula Luo Giyoko. Only Kongi Kongun. When we now call Eshula Lu, the energy of Eshu, I've said to you, Eshu is not a person. Eshu is the energy of equity. So those who are coming to equity must come with what?
Clean hands.
Clean hand. So if someone had gone to do abusi, which is gossip, to somebody who do not know you, who think that she is fighting or he is fighting for that person, when we trace it, We will also go and present our case, and we will call the energy of equity, and we present the case. If you are right, we present it. If you are wrong, we also present it, and we ask for forgiveness. So when the energy of equity is standing between the Babalawo and the witches, they have no choice. And it is the unfortunate situation for the one who went to report you, in case what they went to go and say is evil, because okuta somo pelo pe osobani won fori won ko.
Kasa.
Are you getting the concept of how it works? That is the science of how things can work. So the same issue, I'm not a child of a Satan, is your savior when the cookie begin to crumble. Babalawo and the witches can be, having altercation or all this thing. But the moment we call the energy of equity between us, nobody can say what is not and escape it. That's why we tell people who come to Babalawo, please, it's like coming to your lawyer or your doctor. Don't come and be doing like this, like this, like this. Tell us the way it is exactly, so that we will know what to do. Then it's now left for the witches to tell you, go and offer so and so sacrifice to the nature. Somebody think when we make sacrifices, some people will now come and disappear and be doing and they will now pack it and eat it. Who are your mothers in the village that are so hungry? Do you think we are acting film here? No. You see, from the length and breadth, width, and the deep of African spirituality, I realized that it boils around giving. Giving. As unimportant as you may think it is, when you want to drink water, can you just give the earth some things? They call it pouring of libation. It is called pouring of libation. When you eat, can you pour some out? Some of you, it is the accumulation of your stinginess that is making you go through problems. And at the end of the day, when we tell you we need to kill this, do this, blah, 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 we are still telling you to give back to nature. Allow the nature to breathe. Allow it to have its own share of what it has given to you so far. That is the concept of these witches, the witchcraft. It looks exciting to some people. It might look offensive to some people. But that is the science of witchcraft. Having knowledge first that other people don't have, make you become diabolical. To them, the moment they have the same knowledge, they will change their song. It will become power. A knowledge that is inaccessible for all is diabolical. The moment they have access to it, it becomes power. But when you now attain that powerful state, what do you do with the power? That's what makes you evil or good. And I must tell you, without trying, without much effort, these women you see, these women, they possess so much more than you can be able to decode in the entire lifetime that you are. And so when it comes to who are the ambassador of witches or witchcraft, we quickly just pick them because we don't understand them. If your wife curses you, you are cursed. There's nothing I can do about it. If your mother cursed you, that's all. That's if you offend her. Women should not think because of this they will now be misusing power. Power that is used can burn you. If you offend her to the bone, if you offend her to the bone and she mess you up, you are messed. If it's also your mother, if it's also your daughters, that's why we say be careful how you deal with these people they call weaker vessels. There is nothing weak about them. There is nothing weak about these people who are strong. Leave their body anatomy alone. Nature has a way of compensating for each and every of these species and gender. You look masculine, but inside of you, you are feeble. They look so fragile, but inside of them, those are giants. That's how they have been able to earn the title of witches in African spirituality. But anyone can be a witch as long as you possess the knowledge of nature. But what would you do with this knowledge of nature? Because the universe will also test you. The power I gave to you, how did you make use of it? Are you serving humanity with it, or you are messing them up with it? It is not left to us. So when we make divination and we realize that, come, your matter has to do with marking, and some people are behind it. See, what we do is we still go back to the witches. The energy of the witches is what we now invoke, and we now beg them and say, please, let it go. We are not your pastor, and we are not your imam. If your source is poisonous, it is your source you go to treat. You don't attack a source that gives you water because it is poisonous. You go back to mend your ways. So all this, you are rebooking this, you are rebooking that. Kila yede, or rebook the book. They are the one getting richer over you. You break limits, so you are broken. Your limit is there. The only one that is cashing out is your pastor. So we need to be careful about how we understand this thing or how we misconceive them. And you will see that I always do veneration and also honor them every single time. I believe when our male children, if our sons are taught about the power that our female children possess, I guess there will be a lot more sanity in the world. Nobody will try to oppress anybody. And if these women dare to play with you with the good sides they have, you realize how easy life can be. Some of you men don't need to hustle that much. Some of you men don't need to struggle this much. If only you are in unison with your spouse. You may be going through issues, but it will be like a soft cushion. You will just be flowing. But if you have been marked for failure, you will still go and marry one aje. You will buy a patata. You two will not know how to behave. So the more you go, the more she fire you. So that's basically the misconception around this and how to understand this concept. I don't know. It's a comment there making you laugh. You are really laughing a lot.
This is powerful.
Right, I think I'm done with the lecture today.
Right, fantastic. Please, thank you, Baba Yoba. That's fantastic, man. If you have questions for Baba Yoba, put them up now so I can put your questions to him. Because some of you were trying to ask questions earlier on, but I didn't want you to. I wanted people to concentrate and pay attention so you can soak up everything he's been saying. Have you got any questions? Please type them now so I can ask. Let me see who is. What questions have you got? Yes, if you joined us, midway, feel free to watch a playback. Okay. Feel free to watch a playback. Let's see. Put up your questions now so we can ask Baba Yoba so you can, and then we can wrap up. Right. Somebody asked earlier, whilst I'm waiting for people to type their questions, Baba Yoba, there was someone that asked earlier about why is it that it's very common in our society back home where, young children are being maliciously labeled or, targeted as being witches. And of course, you have perfectly explained the misconception of, the witches and witchcraft, which I believe people would understand. So, but why is it that it's prevalent in our community? Because we see a lot of very horrific content, particularly online, thanks to social media, where, innocent children will be labeled as all these self-proclaimed pastors and say, oh, that little girl is possessed, and you see them burning the child, or in some extreme cases even killing these children. Why do you think that is, and how can we end this very evil and toxic cycle?
Well, let me start from how we can end it. We can end it by public enlightenment and putting as much enough fund into making people get to understand African spirituality and their own individuality, the way we put so much money in Christianity and Islam. We can also curb this abuse of human rights and spiritual rights, so to say, by having the right people in politics who can put the right legislation the right law into place against domestic abuse, children abuse, or whatever it is, where you mess up with a child, you get locked up. Such thing is not in Africa. And the fact that African parents want to really correct their children or want to have the best, get the good things of life for them, it's also making them abuse that power. There's a way you can chastise a child, or you can make life worthy for a child, but let your children have a choice of their own also. And going back to why that is prevalent, you have said it all. Who are the people perpetrating this evil? The middlemen who are the traders of the religion of the invaders. They are the one abusing these children who are enigmatically endowed with African spirituality. I have seen children and I have seen adults who were taken to churches for deliverance just because their parents misunderstood them or could not get them right. So I started a campaign. I said there is nothing like Egbe. There is nothing like Egbe. So many ladies came at me on Instagram and they want to make sure that such institution exists at all costs in our society. They told me to read the book written by this, written by this. I said, men wrote this book. We, Diawo, we know that is a way to earn money by scaring you of what you are not. It is okay for you to tell people that they identify with this and help them to also maximize it. Or telling them they have Egbe and all those. Which kind of Egbe? Is it Egbe Oniribomi or Egbe PDP or Egbe APC? You see, mystery love company. People really badly want to belong to something. When they don't have that particular thing, their orphanage mentality begin to push them into accepting any form of nonsense that flies around. The same with these pastors and imams. What they don't understand, they abuse. They do not understand the concept that in African spirituality, all mankind belongs to 4 schools of elements. Say that you identify with the fire stroke sun, the air, the water, or the earth. I'm not into horoscope or zodiac, whatever. It's the tradition or culture of other kind of people, other race. When you identify with the sun, so to say, let's take that for an example, you realize that people misunderstand you as being intimidating, domineering, and also you, in the possible aspect, you are strong-willed, not strong-headed, strong-willed. You see through every project you go by. What is discouraging people don't easily just break you or discourage you. And for the men and the women also, it might be very hard for them to settle down with one person who is not emitting the same energy as them, because while you're trying to suppress this woman who identifies with the sun, she doesn't want to be suppressed. And there's a lot of divorce rates because our parenting system has been neglected in this Africa. You can't just go ahead and get married to someone whose element is negating yours. You are a water, you are marrying someone who is a fire, you get the point. So when children begin to pick up the signal from nature, according to their own divine assignment in this dispensation where they are existing, maybe through the power of their mouth, they say something is going to happen to their sibling, and it happened. They say they had a dream, and the dream come to reality. Parents who are obsolete, who are timid, who are ignorant, who are fearful, begin to get scared of these children and expose the children to their abusers, which are the pastors, who do not have any other thing but to call these children witches and wizards. And so because of that, they don't even know how to do exorcism or take the spirit out of them. What they do is to psychologically abuse them, molest them, discourage them, and bamboozle them, such that the child will live in perfect confusion state for the rest of his life. Do not subject your children to such treatment. They will curse you when they know. They will hate you for it at old age. You might think you were helping them. The moment they come to this reality of things that I'm saying right now, you will be their greatest enemy. And somebody will say, what has your mother or father done to you to do this? They will not be able to explain, but they will not like you for it.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
the moment you discover that you have a special child, you cannot believe in the marvel character of those ex-mutant and whatever, and not believe that your child is an Orisha also, that they can control power, that they can control electricity, that they can control fire, that they can control the earth. How can you believe in such marvel characters and not believe that your child is also an Orisha who can do all of these things? Where do you think the marvel characters were the inspiration of all these things were gotten from? Because they know that we Africans are spirited. You can't be atheist as an African. You can't be Christians as an African. You can't be Muslim as an African. You are bigger than an organized religion. You are bigger than being contained or being tamed. You can be taught how to maximize your power, but nobody should assume the position of a general overseer, of a bishop, of a reverend, of a vicar over your life. Whoever does that is trying to suppress you, and they don't want you to maximize your divinity. You should live as an Orisha, as the representative or even Olodumare of your own life. Being able to heal the sick, raise the dead, do all you can do, because it is inside of you. And when they see what you have that they don't have, the jealousy will provoke them to blackmail you, and they will they will tag your children anything they want to tag. Some of you have been taken to some Abalawo, and they have suppressed this power in you by giving you some pele, using the one idea to suppress that. It is evil. This is evil. That's why we don't have a very beautiful world in Africa anymore. People should see you, not scared of you, but they should reverence you, because you are spirit on your own, and you should live as one. So when we begin to push this public enlightenment and make it go further and wider, people will begin to wake up to that reality, especially the parents who make their children susceptible to the hand of these people who practice the religion of the Vedas. When you go to Celestial Church of Christ right now, any little thing you do that does not abide with their own rules and regulation, you are termed as elegbe, but they cannot do anything without giving praise to Olokun. They will go to the riverside, they will go to the ocean side. They don't even have their churches where there is no river. What are they looking for? They use these powers, but they are telling you that there's no power in them. We need to come home to ourselves and begin to realize that these people have nothing to offer. It is African spirituality they are trying to administer to you, but when you are offered a local gene in a foreign cup, you are going to be poisoned. So that's my answer.
Is it safe to say, thank you, that a lot of these my mind is spinning like a tumble dryer, man. Is it safe to say that a lot of these so-called leaders of these organized religions, like you've been saying, they are deliberately hand-picked gatekeepers that have been assigned the duty to mislead multitudes, so that most of us can't even be able to exercise our potentials spiritually at the very top level? Because I think it's intentional to have people blind.
All of this is intentional and also systematic. All these guys are power brokers, so to say.
Yes.
Because of their greed, they are being sponsored greatly to ensure that Africa do not become great or maximize its potential by diverting the attention of our people in nothing else, which is the space, and to the sky god. And those of them who are attaining so much power today, they attain the little power by going diabolical the way we are. Whereas they have been bribed heavily not to even mention these things. I'm telling you the truth today, that most of these, your GOs and pastors, not all your money is what they are making. They get sponsorship from Eurasian cultism, Eurasian white supremacy concept. If they want to build churches that will take 1 million people today, they will get the money one way or the other. If you want to build a factory that will employ just 5 people for space recharge or whatever, you will not get the money. What do you think is happening there? The way they are sponsoring them in Islam is the way they are sponsoring them in Christianity also. And it's so unfortunate that Africans are the one being used against Africans themselves. In those days, they were asking, somebody was asking me that, come, how is it that you believe so much in this African spirituality, but in those days, our ancestors were taken captive? I said, is it madness that is worrying you, or you are the one that is worrying madness? Do you not know that even though Yahweh was being created and Yahweh was in existence, all this while, even the Jewish could not even escape the grip of Hitler? Where was Yahweh when they were being killed? Why are you asking where my ancestors and their power when they were being killed? You see, when fear factor is predominant in a certain society, even you will not be able to recite any incantation.
Yeah.
When the kings are being bribed, when traitors are living amongst us, these kings are being bribed heavily. When a king can give a 1,500 people as slaves just because they gave him a mirror or an umbrella, what else can these people do? So we have traitors amongst us. We have the Oni of Ife that is currently, what's his name? Is he Olaito or about whatever, who is messing up the throne of the ancestors, who went to take the Aremo, the prince of Odudua, to go and do child dedication in a church and giving thanks to the foreign god for allowing me to stay for 5 years on the ancestral throne of Africa, of indigenous society and race like Yoruba. Giving praise to Jesus for the things that we gave to him in Africa here. We have the one of Elegushi, which Bola Tinubu installed there, who is giving praise to Allah for giving him 1 year on the throne. How do you give praise to a foreign god for the things that your ancestors gave to you?
Man.
Was it Bible that they used to swear you in to be the king? Was it Quran? So these people are traitors. And it is unfortunate for us. The wife of Oni was in the compound of the palace of Ile-Ife the other time, doing a shenanigan crusade and singing that miracle machine lale yo eshu tite ulalala. Eshu is in the palace and you are saying eshu tite, and the husband cannot even control her. What kind of madness is this? For how long are we going to keep quiet? When we put the bastard, the servant, the ignorant on the throne, and we expect ourselves to thrive as a race, we want ourselves to thrive as Africans. It's not going to happen. So I was telling someone very close to me, I said, in the next 200 years, there might not be any indigenous race in Africa because these people will wipe us off. They are said the ones they have taken to Britain is not enough. They are still selling some other indigenous artifact that carries so much power here. Oshaje is in your UK there. Oshaje is in your UK there. Why is it not in Africa here? Why is it not here?
Where is it in the UK?
They will arrest. Don't cause trouble. They will arrest you. Let's do it legally. You get the point. When you now talk to them, they will be saying this and that. I will be threatening you with DSS and security forces. It's not going to happen. Parents sold out their children. Kings sell out their own community members. Our leaders are our greatest undoing because we keep putting clueless people in power. And those who have clue, you hate them, you stone them, you kill them. When is it going to go further? Man. The Akiomi of Lagos is saying he's coming back to Iga the other day that they stole his Okpashe and is going to issue to go and cause. I said, Baba, is your own hand clean? You this murderer. Is your own hand clean that you are calling issue? Better go and make another Okpashe Mbaye. If the Okpashe Mbaye is the real Okpashe Mbaye, nobody will be able to uproot it from where it is. People are suffering in Saleko. This man could do nothing for them. Contribution and collection that they are doing on top of Africans. Our kings have become politicians. The other day I was watching an interview with the king of Zulu in South Africa. He said he saw a revelation and he gave a prophecy to his people. And a white man was asking him, who gave you this revelation? The guy said it was his father. Say, who's your father? He said, Jesus. There was a shock in the eyes of this white man that was interviewing him. There was a shock. It was an Al Jazeera interview. There was a shock like, you be the king of Zulu, respected king for that matter, and Jesus is your own father. What happened to these people? So when the colonization is coming again, you realize that we can't defend ourselves. We are so defenseless. They want Yoruba nation, but we don't speak Yoruba in Yoruba nation. We don't even do Yoruba spirituality in Yoruba nation. When we get the Yoruba nation, are we still going to be going to church? Are we still going to be speaking English? Are we still going to be going to mosque? When we have the Biafra nation, is it Ahmadiyya that will take over? Now that these people are already controlling this and contacting themselves with one God, they say they belong to the tribe of Jew or the Israel. What is wrong with these people? Can't you be on your own? The orphanage mentality. I'm sorry for shouting. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
No. The energy is needed. Thank you for that. Let's just do a couple of more questions so we can wrap up. In fact, there were some questions here, but whoa, Baba Yoba is on fire today. Somebody else, please retype your questions, because I've been carried away listening. Man, we have a long way to go, and it's the reverse engineering, man. They've layered this suppression, black against black, Yoruba against, to suppress ourselves. The confusion is multi-layered, man. I've been tagged. Somebody type your questions, please. Somebody's saying, why is A22 Akosejaye so expensive? If you can just answer that briefly, so I can ask you a couple of more questions and then we wrap up.
All right, there are items needed for different things. And it is not expensive because it's supposed to be expensive. It is expensive because we are in a bad economy here. Even somebody who is selling Gary will tell you that dollar what is the business of dollar and Gary? And I will not use my own money to go and do your own right. I have children to pay school fees for. I'm also having money. I have need for money. So people should understand that when you come and we generate item of your divination, if you like, go and buy it and bring it. If you want us to help you to get it, we get the cheapest price for you, which normally I'm reluctant to do for people because our Nigerian people can be so nasty when it comes to money. They think everybody's a pauper. They think everybody is out to scam them and all that. All those review, I don't want to put my hand in anything that has to do with propaganda. And the Akosidaya has to do with different kind of items that we need to buy. And so also, it will cost more people. If you go and call elders from your own place and all that, will you tell them that go in peace? No, you won't tell them that.
Somebody's asking, how do we appease and get out of Ogun Idile? Can you answer that quickly, please?
Yeah, I've done a video regarding Ogun Idile. Ogun Idile, they say it's generational curse. And I try to correct that notion that there is nothing like generational curse in African spirituality, except somebody is going to steal from you and you are free to give them your money. There is something called generational pattern. Some will learn them, some will inherit them by blood. I spent hours speaking to someone about it. I think we should, frankly, I think we should slate a time to address generational curse on this platform.
Let's go. We can do that.
The lady who asked the question, please just wait till the time we are able to explain around it. You'll see reasons with me.
No problem. She's a big fan of your show, so she's definitely will be she'll stay tuned for that. This one said, how do you differentiate bad and good energy around you?
It's simple. The way you differentiate poison and good food. One makes you feel uneasy, the other makes you feel comfortable. That's it. When you are with someone who has a bad energy, you can't be at peace with them. You're always at loggerhead. Sometimes you don't even want to meet with them eye to eye. You are not excited to meet them. Or if it's a positive energy, especially when it works with you, you are always excited to meet them. You are eager. And don't make mistake. Bad energy is good for bad people. Good energy is good for good people. It is only bad people that good energy is not good for. When bad people see each other, even though what they are emitting is bad energy, it is good for them. You get the point?
Right. Great stuff. This one said, how do you recover usurped or stolen glory by parents? I mean, that person perhaps have an impression that their glory or whatever has been stolen by their parents. So how do you answer that very quickly, Baba Yoba?
Well, it takes several rights. If we have made discovery that such a thing happened, so many people came from a family of Ogboni and all those wicked parents who joined so many cults to, make exchange of their children and all of those things and all that. It takes several rights to get one out of that. It still has to do with what Ifa is telling us to do. You must understand that the system of divination is our saving grace. And we can't do all these things by just adding 1 + 2 together and say, okay, this and that. It's not a generic stuff. It depends on what has been done to you that will require what will be done for you.
Right. Fantastic. One more question, and then that's it. But when Pastor V, this one said, Baba, when pastors pray and people are falling, what is the spirit? What type of spirit is a pastor, working with?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that quickly by making mockery of these people call themselves pastors and all that. There are two things. There's something called emotionalism, and there's something that is also called aluo. Emotionalism is when you have been programmed in a certain environment, tampered with, which your adrenaline will be telling you to misbehave yourself. Remember, those pastors don't just start saying fall down and die one time. They would have done series of programming, series of teaching, so that when they start, you just enter cruise and be falling. Sometimes women also are the one who help these men make mockery of them. They don't want to fall the hand of their pastors. So you see that women are the first to start shouting and falling all of that. When you wake them up or something, you realize that nothing has left them. And there's another aspect of it. In case your pastor don't know how to work with your emotion or mess your head up as a motivational speaker, there's something they call aluwo. Aluwo. The English of that, I hate giving English interpretation to all these African words. Aluwo is like a ring. It comes in form of, it can come like a ring. It can come in form of something you can put in your microphone or something like a wand or something. It is mainly used to catch mad people in our society then when a person becomes insane and enters the market to become a nuisance. And they call a babalawo to come and help them capture this person. Of course, you can't face a mad person with another guy. So what you do is either you touch the person with the aluwo or you point it to the person. The first reaction from a person is that they will fall down and sleep off for some minutes. Within the minute of sleeping, you can carry them, cut them away into the compound and lock them up and begin to administer herbs to them until their brain come back to reality. Your pastors often come to us to collect this aluwo, and it's the aluwo they use on you in the church. However, if you are not a mad person and you have been falling under the anointing of aluwo, you will still run mad one day. That's the consequence. If you like, go and be falling, and one day you will be the one to fall and you will just die. If you don't die, you will still run mad. That's the consequence. If you are not mad and they are testing aluwo on you, one day you will still run mad. All these Christians that are falling into unexplainable depression and running mad, killing themselves.
Thank you for that. This last one. What happens when you sleep with a woman with consent and you deflower the woman and now you want out of the relationship and she's threatening to curse you?
I said something on my Facebook just last night. I said, women who feels that you cannot make it in life just because their relationship with you does not end up in marriage and are more lunatic than most of these people that we are trying to correct their perception. You see, people need to come to reality that relationship will end in marriage or not end in marriage. However, I always tell men, don't make promises of what you cannot do.
Yeah.
I'm telling you the fact today, publicly, if a woman is there who I've done this with can come and testify. I have never disvirgined a woman all through my youthful life. Because I know I wasn't serious, but I know the power behind just disvirgining people and duping them. If we have a good relation going, the moment I discover you're a virgin, motiya. Number one, my conscience will not allow me to rest, and I don't want to be getting myself involved in all of this shady stuff. If you have given promises to her, it is only man of you to fulfill your promise. I always tell men, you have to point at your grave before you turn back at your words. The words you don't mean, let it remain inside of you. Don't promise these women if you are not going to. It's not limited to virginity alone. Any woman at all, if you give her promise, just like it's going to be hurtful for you, if someone promise you and fail you, knowing that they are not going to fulfill it, and you discover, you can say wrong words in the rave of the moment and all that. However, if you guys are just on the malo, tó wá fẹ́ lọ sọ di strong team mọ́ ẹ lọ́wọ́, ó kàn ṣe pé lásán ni o, ó ń tanra ẹ ni o. There's a better way to break up with women or men than just breaking their heart. you guys know better about this. I'm not a relationship counselor, but
it's you. It's sorry, it's me. It's not you, or it's you. It's me. I'm holding on to celibacy for now. The spirit. Yay! Anyway, it's been a fantastic session. You as you can see on the screen, check out Baba Yoba's website. That's Baba Yob. Is that BABAYOOB?
There's supposed to be an A there, babayoba.org. I made a mistake.
Right. Okay. Let me type that. So Baba Yoba. Or somebody's saying that you're not responding to your WhatsApp, so I'm guessing that you're very busy. Can you say something about that quickly?
I usually ask for tender apology to people. I'm really sorry. I'm very, very sorry. We have to do public enlightenment. We are invited to one conference or the other, one workshop for the other. Like now, we are spending almost 1 hour, 30 minutes here talking with you guys on Franklin's platform. I had to go from one place to the other, doing ritual here and all that. I always tell you that sometimes it is not where I am that a sacrifice must be done. Sometimes divination system tells us to go to your own hometown or your village to get this thing done. These are long drives and all. So I will surely attend to everyone. At the end of the day, please just please just stay with me and be patient, please. The reason why it's not that fast is because I'm not running a business with your money or with your attention or with you. If I'm running a business, I would have hired people to come and help me to listen to you, but these are confidential matters. It's like a doctor-patient relationship. Things you share with me, I can't share with any living soul. And if I get an assistant to listen to what people are dubious, I don't want that. So please let it be between you and I, and let it be when I get to you. I will surely get to everyone. I'm overworking myself, and I will surely go around with everybody.
Right. So look at what I've pinned on the screen. Baba. I made a mistake. I put Baba. It's babayoba.org. I made a mistake there, but it's BABAYOBA.org. Then Baba Yoba on YouTube and at Baba Yoba
_
is that at
the Instagram is Baba Yoba _ Baba _Yoba. Sorry.
My bad. Let me do it again.
Yoba. Sorry, people will be getting information right as time goes on.
1 second. Baba _Yoba on Instagram. Okay. So, and then if you have personal concerns, I'm looking at some things in there. If it's personal to you, like somebody who is talking about, you might be saying some things to do with sex in your dreams, and there's a pattern to it, go and meet Baba Yoba for personal divination consultation, and I'm sure he will be able to shed lights on what direction to take from there. So that's not something that, of course, you would appreciate that can be discussed on an open platform. Come on.
And please let me say to people that it is not every time you come that you might require to do a sacrifice or buy some items. Sometimes it might be just general counseling or advice. Sometimes if I just want you to change some lifestyle you live, some of these precautions we give to you. So don't think a Babalawo is not legit or know its job just because it's not billing you or asking you for money. If I did not say collect this, we will collect. If your matter requires you to just change your diet, if it requires you to just change your lifestyle, your location, I'm not going to ask you to buy any item. So you should not come with the mindset of, I want to spend money, I want to spend money. Please. And if your matter requires money, don't, because you cannot pay the money, come online and be calling me scammer. And the thing is, there are two stages. There is a divination token which you will pay to have unlimited access to me. Sometimes, Franklin, I speak to one person for 2 hours, sometimes 2 good hours. If you guys are working like that in the UK, they'll surely pay you per hour.
Yeah.
And that's asking for me for life. You might wake up in the middle of a dream. They wake me up in the middle of my sleep. Sometimes I'm eating, I have to stop my eating because you have paid that money, you have access to me. However, when I engage in service for you and I make divination for you, whatever if I say we should get or buy, I'm not going to use my money for you, except you have warapa or you have mental problem. Those are the two things that if I say we should not collect money for. It is my money that I will use to help and treat you on that regard. There are other ailments also, issue that people have that according to Ifa divination, a babalawo must not collect money for it. And the fact that you beg me and say, please, I don't have that much money, collect this thing as if you're not talking, and you are in Nigeria. And I say, okay, because your president is my president and I know how it goes, I will add the remaining for my money. Does not mean you are going to be going and be comparing notes with those who can afford it and say, Mogba, is cheap here. No. I can decide not to take something from some people, and I can decide to take something from the people. If it does not pay you, Alepate, Songota, Alepate, Lagos Ibadan Expressway, go and meet Jesus, go and meet Muhammad. Please, don't stress my whole life. Let me focus on what Ori has told me to do for people. And my service is not for everybody. If you can't afford it, instead of calling me scammer, you darafunwa.
I want to add to that, okay? And I will say this as well, and I'm a very reasonable man. So, like I always say, first of all, I'm exercising my freedom of expression to bring Baba Yoba or anyone that I deem fit on my platform. I've had some unscrupulous persons that maybe because they're confused, I don't know who they are, they hide behind dodgy contact details. They will come into my inbox as soon as I see toxic content and you're trying to say something nasty, or maybe because you don't like that person because of their expression on a particular platform 3 years ago, and then you think you have the audacity to come and tell me X, I just flag your email, send it straight to the junk folder, and block you straight from there. So what I'm trying to say is, first of all, here, this man, let me tell you, man, what this gentleman, and I'm not saying it because he's here now, what this gentleman is sharing with us in terms of knowledge that has taken him a long time to acquire, right? On some platforms, away from my platform, they will pay him top dollar for him to even speak for an hour. That's facts. You have somebody who is an ex-prime minister of a country, ex-president of a country, who have lied, who have bombed other nations. They go and speak in Qatar. They pay them £1 million for 30 minutes. They pay them £500,000 to speak for 45 minutes. You have an ex-British Prime Minister gets paid £1 million to consult with an oil refinery country in the Middle East who are still bombarding Africa. These people are not even adding value. This is how to elevate and improve your life, and hopefully so you can see the light. Like he rightly says, it's not for everybody and all that. Don't come and start karate chops on my platform or start attacking people that you shouldn't. Nobody owes you anything. Baba Yoba doesn't owe anybody anything. But personally, I align with his knowledge, ideas, and stuff, okay? And I brought him on my platform. If it's not your cup of tea, you are absolutely within your right to go in your direction. Go and watch Tom and Jerry. Go and read a book. Go and cook. Go and bake cake. Go to work. Go and sleep. Go and do whatever else, rather than coming here and attacking. But if you're an African particularly, and you can pay attention to what this man has been talking about, man, believe me, most of us, we're living in blindness. Interestingly, I watched a documentary online earlier today where a white man said, unbeknown to a lot of us, we are living in this world. The lives we are living every day is actually scripted. It's been tailored for us. That a lot of people don't realize that people with certain energies, they force you into a direction. So it's later in life, Togumba Day and challenges, you start seeing things the way you should see them. That's all I'm trying to, get to. I hope you find the light. I hope things fall in place for you and I, for every one of us. Baba Yoba, Shadura from Waka, close up, man.
Gbegbe igbe soko a ò ní gbé sájò, ayé wa dára, á nítumọ̀. Wọ́n ní ẹ̀mú ìmúrintì lágbẹ̀dẹ, a ò ní ṣàṣetì ilé ayé o. A ò ní rógun alákòóbá, a ò ní rógun olénìní, a ò ní ràrìn fẹsẹ̀ sí. a ò ní ṣorí gbé. Àwọn tí ń ṣe gbégbègbè ò ní gbé sọ́dọ̀ wa o. A ò ní bá wọn wẹ̀wọ̀n àìnídìí o. A ò ní gbé ọmọ sí, a ò ní gbọ́kọ sí, a ò ní gbáya sí. Wọn ò ní bọ́ bàtà ọ̀fọ̀ sẹ́nu ọ̀nà lé mi àti yín o. Ikú àìpọ́jọ́ àìpóṣù kò ní mọ̀dọ́ lé wa o. Àwa ti wá dọmọ ikú tí kò gbọdọ̀ pa lónìí o. Adọmọ àrùn tárùn ò gbọdọ̀ gbédè. Adọmọ àṣeyìrí táṣeyìrí kankan ò gbọdọ̀ bẹ̀ wò. Adọmọ òfò tó fò gbọdọ̀ ṣẹ̀. Á dára fún wa, á jẹ wá kalẹ̀. Ayé wa ò ní bàjẹ́. Mo wá fẹ́ fẹ́ lè kún wípé agbe ní ń dún wáríwárí, àlùkò ní ń dún wárùnwárùn, àṣẹ́mọ̀gà ní ń dún màpàyí ògèrè jáfe. Adíá fún ẹ̀mí tí ń ṣọmọ lọ́rìndìnríndín. Báyé bá mú ọ lápá wọn máa bọ́, báyé bá mú gbogbo alápá lọ́tòní lọ, á máa yọbọ́ ń bẹ̀ o. Wọ́n ní báyé bá mú ọ lẹ́sẹ̀, wọ́n á jùrù pàtà. Gbogbo kòtò tọ́ta gbẹ́lẹ̀ fún wa, àwọn ni wọ́n mọ fara wọn di. Wọ́n ní bẹ́yọ̀dí bá mú ọ lóhùn àtọ̀run alákejì, a ò ní lọ sọ́run alákejì láìpẹ́ ọjọ́ o. Wà nípa òun máa go tiwa lẹ́nu o. Ayé wa dára. Ó ṣe rínú, yóò dára fún wa.
Thank you from me and Baba Yoba. Thank you, and he'll be back soon.